Hey friends, I'm here because I want to talk to you about a couple of things today. So, one, it's going to be about the importance of setting boundaries, and another one is going to be staying in your own freaking lane and knowing that there are limitless possibilities for you. So, the thing is that as we get going in life and we are going through our daily habits, other things pop up. Or we have to manage our schedule, our kids' schedule, our spouses or our partners' schedules. Everything we do, it can feel super heavy. And next thing you know, you just start living that busy mentality. And trust me, I have been there. When things get busy, I let go the things that I love to do the most are usually the first things to go because it's easy to put yourself last to take care of the people around you. And then what happens then is then you sit down and maybe you start getting anxious because you didn't get done what you wanted to get done. Maybe you start self-doubting yourself because you said you were going to do all these things. You knew you were capable of doing all these things, but it didn't happen. It didn't get done. You weren't doing it. Let me make this here. And the next thing you know, you're going down that rabbit hole of that inner mean girl again. And that's what we're going to stop. Because as you're going through all of this and as you are seeing these busy schedules, then you realize that, oh my gosh, I don't have time. So when someone asks, how are you? You're going to say, I'm too busy. If you're going to sit down to work and then something happens and you can be like, well, my kids need me. There's no way I can do this. And then what happens is that you take that as like a failure of you reaching your goals. And then you change your story and you start telling yourself, I can't do this. Like, look, every time I sit down to do it, I get interrupted. Every time I try to do this, this happens. It's just not meant to be. But the reality is that that story that you're telling yourself is not serving you. So we need to make sure that we are flipping it around. And I can't tell you how many times that I have felt this. And at sometimes it causes a little bit like that's when like the bells go off where I know I need to take a step back because then I get into the hustle culture where it can cause burnout and it takes the joy away from it. And if you're like me, like I want to be having fun all the time, right? So what I do is I make sure that I write down, and if you have a journal, I put down like the four things that are most important to me, like the four aspects of my life that I have duties and jobs or want to do things in. And then I prioritize in each of those. So what you do is you have to think about what you value the most. Mine, so easy to answer that. It is spending time with my kids, enjoying them in their age, enjoying our relationships, enjoying where we live, being outside, right? Enjoying any moment. It could be so simple. It could seriously be us singing a song together, going for a walk, or it could be us doing like we planted like little flowers here, right? Like, or it could be doing like a family vacation. But whatever it is, I value the time with my kids the most. So when it's really funny because there's two things that I do on my phone. I work my business or I mindlessly scroll. Honestly, I don't even scroll through social media. I scroll through like shopping sites and I just like look to get ideas of whether it's like fashion, which I'm so not fashion. I look up leggings, okay, friends, but or I look up things for my house for like decor or like things for I could add to the backyard to add more fun. And I'm honestly just kind of perusing to put things on my bucket list. But what happens is that I can get so caught up in that I'm missing out on a moment with my kids. So if I put down what I value the most, so time with my husband, time with my kids, time with my family, making time for friends, I put that on my schedule first. I put that time in. And so many people are like, well, I'm not going to block in time playing with my kids. But if you're working full time and have a place where you live that you have to take care of, a family, like I'm sorry, but the fun part is the easiest part to kick out of your daily schedule. I want to make sure that when I'm there, I am present with them. So we all came home from a baseball game last night and the boys were vegging, watching a show. And I started going through Wayfair to look up like backyard ideas. And next thing I know, Eddie calls me and I'm walking over like this. Yeah, and he goes, mommy. And I'm like, what am I doing? When I'm home, a lot of times, if I'm unplugged, I leave that phone somewhere else because I know I need to be intentional because this is what I value the most. I am not getting caught up or wrapped up in anything else other than this. And then that's what's so great about it. All of you who are like running a hustle, side hustle business, what happens is that someone messages you and you're like, oh, they want me to help them. But you're in the middle of playing with your kids, blocks. You're playing blocks with your kids, or maybe you are planning out their new bedroom then when they're moving back home with you, right? Whatever it is. And you're like, oh, but this person, hold on one second. As much as that feels so good in the business standpoint of you reaching your goals, then you're taking that valuable time away with your family that you said is important to you and giving a different meaning. So then at the end of the day, when you look back, you're like, man, I really wish I spent more time with my kids. And I never really closed the sale, because now you're trying to do two things at once. And then that's when we don't fill our bucket up. And then that's when we can create these stories that we're not good enough. But the reality is that I don't care what people say. I have ADD. I can't multitask. I don't think anyone can multitask 100% perfectly, right? So you can go and say that, but honestly, you might be just doing two things. Like you're working on one thing, then you're taking a break and you're going to the other, working on that, taking a break, going to the other. And that's fine. But the reality is you cannot physically do two things at 100% at the same exact time. So I cannot play intense focused game with my kids while trying to help someone through a struggle that they're going through. I cannot serve both of them at the same time. And then what happens then is that my brain then uses that as evidence against me. And then I make up some weird story saying that I'm not capable. I'm not worthy of it. I don't understand why I'm not being successful. So we need to make sure that we are putting down a priority list. Gosh, we used to do this like in school with different like, like, oh, like with just math problems, like who has the most, label it, right? Put the value it out. It's almost like making daily pros and cons, but we know we only have to do it once. We know what's most important to us. So we're going to map out what's so important to us first, right? And put down and prioritize it. And then we're going to time block that out. So, and I literally do this from 3 until 5 o'clock. It is kid time. It's playtime. I'm not going to answer messages. If I'm checking my phone, they're with me on it because we're looking up something or doing something like that, or I'm taking a picture of the moment, right? And it feels so freaking good. Then when they sit down, when we eat dinner and I'm prepping, if I get on my phone and do something like that, like we have like designated downtime, then it's good. We're good to go. Right. And then I have my business hours. I like to work them in the morning. I like to work them in my lunch. I like to work them after they go to bed. And then this way I know that I can do my undivided attention because I don't have those distractions. And I know that I can serve and do my job as I promised. And I got to tell you, it is so fulfilling to know that I go at the end of the day when I reflect as I'm going to bed and thinking about all the wins of the day. It feels so freaking good to know and think about all the great memories we made. And even if the kids don't remember it, they went to bed with a feeling of happiness, of love, of learning, excitement, where that's going to fire them up for the next day. So they may not remember exactly that we were singing a funny song, but they're going to remember how it felt as their childhood. And that's my goal, right? And then when I go and I transition, and so I can cross, I helped my kids. I loved my kids. I, helped them with creativity, whatever it is, right? But I felt I was happy and fulfilled as a mother, and my kids went to bed in a very calm way, and life is good. So that's a huge check, right? Super grateful for that. And then when I go and I reflect through my business hours and my business activities and my team and my people, and I go through there, and then I'm able to then go through and I say, I was able to help this person. I was able to get this off my to-do list. I am doing this. I am capable, right? Instead of it being like, oh, well, I messaged them at this time and we're talking to everybody. But then over there, when I was going to bed, I was looking and scrolling and seeing that somebody helped 32 people this month. And here I am still trying to finish this conversation. Well, maybe that person has office hours for probably a lot longer office hours, and they were undivided attention, but instead of doing it while multitasking. So instead of comparing yourself to someone, yes, see that is proof that if I work smart, efficiently, then I'm going to see better results. And remember that you get to do it your way when you're doing this, right? So then as you're going through all these and you're planning everything out, You don't have to do what Sally's doing over here. You don't have to do what someone's doing over there. You get to do it your way. You get to do that feels good for you. And so as you're going through all this and you're making time for the things that you love the most, the things that bring you joy, the things that are going to bring you closer to your goals. And what happens is that you get to do it in your way, where you get to ask, is this serving me? Is it keeping me happy? Is it allowing for me to move closer to my goals? So if you have a fitness goal or a health and, health goal, you're able to see that you are actually making a decision that's going to move yourself closer to that. Right. So as we're doing that, whether it's mindlessly scrolling, because a lot of times that will just lead to comparison, then what you get to do is you get to choose, you get to act. And by you taking that action, that is the best learning tool that you can have, because you taking action on you trying a new workout, you try running a little bit further, you try a new flexibility thing, you try changing your diet so you can focus on fueling your muscles with the right fuel so they can perform better, so you can reach a better time, a better goal, whatever it may be. Then it allows for you to make those decisions and align with your purpose, your passions, your goals, and things that bring you joy. And you get to make that decision. And then once again, that's going to build your confidence again. That is going to be your proof that you can do this, rather than you falling back and like questioning what's happening. Because as you know, as you're going up here and you are, all right, I'm going to make my value list. And you put down everything and you number it, you change the order. So this is number one priority every day. And this is like a lot like our brain dump that we've done, where it is our top 3 things, but also at the same time, I want it may change what you value the most on day to day, but a lot of times it's going to stay the same, right? So that's something that you may have to adjust here, and not every single day what you value most, but based off of what's going on. But for the most part, they're going to be pretty consistent for you. And then by you going through all of this, it's going to be so much easier to block out that inner mean voice, because you are in control and you are taking action. And you know that there are limitless possibilities the minute that you start believing in yourself. So you having this system to time block and to efficiently go into your day and knowing exactly what you're going to do at every single moment, then allows for you, when that negative Nancy comes in and being like, oh my gosh, my kids are coloring right now. They don't need me for this. I could totally be on my phone sending out a couple of messages. I could be writing my next email. Oh my gosh, I just thought of this great idea for my next workshop. Oh my gosh, I just thought of this great new workout I'm going to try. I heard about it. I just remembered, I got to look it up. But instead, then know that, no, I'm going to be doing research on training. I'm going to be doing research on recipes. I'm going to be moving my body at this time, because that's when I scheduled it. Right now I'm with my kids. And even though we're just coloring, by us coloring and having this conversation right now is what's most important to me. And then when I get to that time in my schedule, then that's when I'll pour myself into that. I'll make a note of what I'm thinking about and write it down, brain dump it, put it over aside for that moment. Because then what happens then is then when you're going through all that, you're not beating yourself up about other things you could be doing. You're present in that moment and you're fulfilling that confidence as a mom, confidence as maybe it's your profession that you're working on, whatever it may be. You're building your confidence, you're growing, and you're getting stronger. And then that way, when those doubts creep in, you say, no, this is what I'm doing. And it's my time. I'm growing. I'm doing everything I need to be doing right now. I'm excited to see where it's going to take me, compared to then when you go do something else, right? And multitasking, dealing with all that. So remember to think about what you value the most. And when we talk on Friday, I'm going to make sure that we actually go through all of this. But I want you to remember to give time and energy to the things that you love the most, because that's what life is about. I want you to laugh more. I want you to play more. I want you to have fun. So when you go to the playground, go and play with your kids, but then go and do a monkey bar challenge with them, right? That's a great way to test your strengths. See how long you can do it, like, a flexed arm hang, phys ed style, and see who can hold it the longest, do simple like obstacle courses on it and time yourself. And then you're kind of tying in the fitness into it, right? Also, though, if you're growing a business and you maybe want other people to join your team, They want to see that it's all, not all work, and it still has a lot of play, because that's why we work so hard. It is proven now that we can get results by doing less if you do it right and you trust yourself and you believe in yourself. So as you're going through, you have a system. First of all, you have our, like, the workbook pages, right? Where you do that every single day. And then you can go on here and you know that you're going to find and make sure that when you're planning out your day, that you're putting the most valuable parts first. You're making sure that you're having time for your kids. You're making sure if eating healthy is right. You're going to make sure that you are blocking out time to cook. You're making sure that you are listening to personal development so you can keep growing. You're going to put in time to journal. You're going to put in time with your partner, whatever it may be. These are all things that you're adding in. Okay. And then as you're going through, and this is another aspect, right? It's okay to say no, or it's okay to set limits to maybe hanging out with people or talking to people. If it's not going to serve you, if it's not going to move you forward, if it doesn't bring you joy, you can say no. Because the reality is that as you're going through this and you say yes to everything, then next you know, you're busy again and you're back at square one. So I've told you all, I have a lot of summer opportunities and people keep asking me to do more. But my goal is to do less in the summer. So I could teach summer school. I could train 100 lifeguards all summer long. But the reality is that I want to be with my kids and enjoy them in the greatest moments. And if I can be smart and reach my goals and help grow my business the way I see it, then I'm going to be able to do both. Because I'm going through and asking myself if it serves me, does it make me happy? Is it going to cause more stress, or is it going to bring me more joy? And then I'm like, that's when it makes me think, man, I got to set a time for my best friend here, right? That's when I'm going to do this stuff. So then when I set my office hours, I'm going to make sure I get my shit done fast and do it right, right? And then that way, when it comes to play, I can play and not stress or worry about anything. And then as those thoughts come in, when I'm trying to focus on one thing, I'm with my kids, or I'm at my other job, and I want, all I can think about is everything else. I trust myself because I have time blocked. I have created this schedule. I've created this lifestyle where I am breaking free from the stigma of having to do it all. So then that way, when it's time to actually do it, I can do it right the first time without anything else getting in the way, that tunnel vision, right? So when I know I'm going to be working out, that is the time I'm going to work out. All I'm going to worry about is working out, so I can push my body to the max at that moment so I can get the most out of it, right? If I time block something with family, I'm going to make sure that, technology is away and I'm doing everything for my family. If I'm going to be doing business hours, or if I'm at my job, I'm going to be doing the same thing, house hunting, chores around the house, set times for all of that, put it in there, because then as you go through and you are at the end of the day, you reflect, you're able to say those affirmations when that doubt rolls in, and you're able to reflect later in the day and see that you did it your way and you were happy all day and you feel like a freaking badass, because look at how much you got done when you made sure you got everything that you valued or that you had to do first, and then had extra time. You have extra time to practice this great gratitude, right? To show that you're grateful. And then cool thing is, let's do it all over again tomorrow. So when you sit down and you're like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take a deep breath first. Because a lot of times when you write down everything you need to do, the first thing that's going to roll in is overwhelm. And you're going to be like, how do all those people do it? How is she doing this? Doubts. And just know that other people who have already done it is just proof that you can do it too. That they have done it, that means that it's doable, right? It's not them, their success is not there to scare you or make you feel less. It just proves that it is possible. Now you get to do it your way and your terms that brings you joy. And the minute that you start acting and taking action and learning as you go, you'll see even more which path is right for you to move forward. All right. Because there's so much. This is like one thing that I always say to myself. There's so much success to be had. There are so many people out in the world. There are so many different ways that you can be healthy, right? There's not just one type of workout. We all don't have to just go out and run. There are thousands of different types of workouts. There's thousands of different gyms. There's thousands of different recipes out there to eat that you like that are healthy. There are thousands, there's 8 billion people in this world for you to go out and help. You just have to do it your way to find your people. You just have to do it your way to find the way that healthy brings you joy. And you get to do it your own way. There are limitless possibilities. All things are possible. And the minute you trust and believe in yourself and you take action, your dream life is going to be there. So I am excited. I'm going to go in and check in on how you are doing. And I just can't wait to hear. I want you to tell me what you value the most and what you're going to make time for and how it aligns with your goals. And I can't wait to hear about it. So I hope you all have a great day and we'll talk soon.